Hello everyone. Today we're diving into something you see all the time in the grocery store: gluten-free labels. You find them on bread, pasta, cookies, and so many other foods. It's become a very common sight, hasn't it? But these labels are much more than just a popular trend or a marketing tactic. They are a critical piece of information for millions of people. Understanding what these labels truly signify is the very first step you can take towards making smart, informed choices for your own health and for the health of your loved ones. This knowledge empowers you, giving you the tools to navigate those bustling grocery aisles with much greater confidence and absolute clarity. Now, for some individuals, choosing to avoid gluten is a personal dietary preference, perhaps part of a plan for a healthier lifestyle. And that's perfectly fine. However, for a significant group of people, avoiding gluten isn't a choice at all. It's an absolute medical necessity. I'm talking about people who live with celiac disease. For them, even a microscopic amount of gluten can trigger serious health problems, causing damage and discomfort. So, when you think about it, these gluten-free labels are not merely helpful suggestions. They are a genuine lifeline. They represent safety, assurance, and trust in the foods we bring into our homes and put into our bodies every single day. This essay is designed to help you understand exactly what gluten-free means when you see it on a food package. We're going to explore why these labels exist in the first place and who they are primarily designed to protect. We will take a closer look at the journey of food from the farm all the way to your kitchen table, placing a special focus on the important regulations that are in place to ensure your safety. We'll also delve into the science behind gluten sensitivity and celiac disease, but don't worry, we'll do it in a way that's easy for everyone to understand. My main goal here is to arm you with the knowledge you need. Knowing the ins and outs of gluten-free labeling can truly be life-changing if you, or someone you care deeply about, needs to avoid gluten for medical reasons. It can significantly reduce the anxiety that often surrounds meal planning and preparation. It can make the task of shopping for food much less stressful and far more straightforward. This understanding allows you to take firm control of your dietary needs in an effective and manageable way. It is all about ensuring that every single meal you eat is not only delicious, but also a safe and genuinely enjoyable experience, completely free from the worry of hidden ingredients or misleading claims. So, what exactly is celiac disease? It's important to understand that celiac disease is a serious autoimmune disorder. This means that the body's own immune system, which is normally designed to protect you from illness, mistakenly attacks its own healthy tissues. When a person who has celiac disease consumes gluten, their immune system responds by launching an attack that specifically damages the lining of the small intestine. It's crucial to recognize that this is not a simple food allergy, nor is it just a mild intolerance. Celiac disease is a lifelong condition that demands strict, ongoing management to prevent serious health consequences. Let's talk about gluten itself. Gluten is a general name we use for the proteins that are naturally found in certain grains, primarily wheat, rye, and barley, along with their derivatives. You can think of gluten as the glue that gives bread its wonderfully chewy texture and helps many food products maintain their shape and structure. It's incredibly common and is present in a vast array of everyday foods. Obvious sources include bread, pasta, pizza, and cereals, but gluten can also hide in less expected places like soy sauce, salad dressings, soups, processed meats, and even some medications or vitamins. This widespread presence makes avoiding it a real challenge. For someone living with celiac disease, ingesting even the tiniest, almost invisible amount of gluten can trigger this harmful immune reaction we talked about. This reaction causes inflammation and damage to the villi. Now, the villi are tiny, finger-like projections that line the inside of your small intestine. These little structures are absolutely essential because they are responsible for absorbing vital nutrients from the food you eat. When the villi become damaged and flattened due to the autoimmune attack, your body simply cannot absorb the vitamins, minerals, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates it needs to function properly and stay healthy. The symptoms of celiac disease can be incredibly varied, and they differ greatly from person to person. Some individuals might experience very noticeable digestive problems such as chronic bloating, persistent abdominal pain, severe diarrhea, or even constipation. Others, however, might have symptoms that seem unrelated to the gut, like unexplained fatigue, iron deficiency anemia, skin rashes, specifically dermatitis herpetiformis, recurring headaches, or joint pain. If celiac disease is left undiagnosed or untreated over time, it can lead to very serious long-term health problems including osteoporosis, infertility, neurological conditions, and unfortunately, an increased risk of developing certain types of cancer. This is why a strict, lifelong gluten-free diet is currently the only effective treatment. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, which we commonly know as the FDA, plays an absolutely critical role in safeguarding public health in our country. One of its most significant responsibilities is to ensure that the food we all eat is safe for consumption and is labeled in a truthful and accurate way. This broad responsibility includes setting clear standards for various claims made on food packages, including the very important gluten-free claim. These regulations are not just pulled out of thin air. They are meticulously developed based on the latest scientific evidence and are specifically designed to protect consumers, especially those individuals who have specific health needs, like celiac disease. A real game-changer came in August 2013 when the FDA issued a final rule that officially defined the term gluten-free for voluntary use in food labeling. This was a truly landmark decision for millions. According to this rule, for any food product to bear the gluten-free label, it must contain less than 20 parts per million ppm of gluten. This specific standard, 20 ppm, was chosen very carefully. It's based on extensive scientific evidence which suggests that this level is low enough for the vast majority of individuals with celiac disease to tolerate without experiencing an adverse reaction or intestinal damage. This vital rule applies to all FDA-regulated packaged foods, and importantly, it also includes dietary supplements. The establishment of this 20 parts per million threshold is incredibly important for several reasons. It provides a clear, consistent, and most importantly, an enforceable definition for the term gluten-free across the food industry. Before this federal rule was put into place, the term gluten-free could be used much more loosely by manufacturers, which often led to significant confusion and potential risk for people with celiac disease who rely on accurate information. Now, when consumers see that gluten-free claim on a label, they can have a much higher degree of confidence that the product genuinely meets this strict federal standard for safety. This consistency is absolutely key. Then in August 2020, the FDA issued another crucial final rule. This rule specifically addressed the complexities of gluten-free labeling for foods that are fermented or hydrolyzed, or that contain ingredients that have undergone fermentation or hydrolysis. Examples of these types of foods include things like yogurt, many types of cheese, sauerkraut, pickles, soy sauce, and even some FDA-regulated beers. The main challenge with these particular foods is that the processes of fermentation or hydrolysis can actually break down gluten proteins. This breakdown can make it very difficult to accurately detect and quantify gluten content using the traditional testing methods. The 2020 rule ensures these products also meet the less than 20 ppm standard. The FDA's comprehensive gluten-free labeling rules cover a very wide array of products that you encounter every day. This includes the majority of packaged foods that you find lining the shelves in your local grocery store, such as various types of breads, breakfast cereals, different kinds of pasta, and a multitude of snack foods like crackers and cookies. Importantly, these rules also apply to dietary supplements, which is an area some people might overlook, not realizing that these products can sometimes contain hidden gluten. However, it is also important to be aware that these specific FDA rules do not apply to foods regulated by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, such as fresh meat, poultry, and certain egg products, nor do they typically apply to most alcoholic beverages, which are generally regulated by the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, TTB. The 2020 rule, as we discussed, brought much-needed clarity and specific guidance for certain types of processed foods. For instance, yogurt, which is a very popular fermented dairy product, must strictly meet the gluten-free standard if it is labeled as gluten-free. Similarly, sauerkraut and pickles, which are vegetables fermented through natural processes, are also covered under this rule, ensuring their gluten-free claims are reliable. Even some types of beers, specifically those that are made from gluten-containing grains like barley, but are then processed to remove the gluten, often marketed as gluten-removed or gluten-reduced beers, must comply with the FDA's less than 20 ppm standard if they fall under FDA regulation and carry a gluten-free claim. These regulations, both the 2013 and the 2020 rules, are absolutely vital for the safety and well-being of consumers who live with celiac disease. Accidental ingestion of gluten, even in very small amounts, can lead to significant physical discomfort, painful symptoms, and potentially serious long-term health complications for these individuals. Clear, accurate, and reliable labeling helps to prevent these unfortunate incidents from occurring. It effectively empowers individuals to make safe food choices for themselves and their families without the constant burden of having to conduct extensive, time-consuming research on every single product they consider purchasing or consuming. This significantly reduces daily stress. Ultimately, these carefully crafted FDA regulations work together to build a strong foundation of trust and confidence between food manufacturers and consumers. When people, especially those with celiac disease or gluten sensitivity, see a gluten-free label that is backed by robust federal standards, they can feel much more secure and assured about the food they are purchasing, preparing, and eating. This confidence naturally extends beyond the individual with celiac disease. It also benefits their families, their friends, and any caregivers involved in their food preparation. It fosters a much safer and more inclusive food environment for everyone who needs to, or chooses to, avoid gluten in their diet. These labels are so much more than just words. They are a genuine promise of safety.